Take 3. Okay, I hope that you're enjoying the class. This review is not to replace you watching those videos, Sean Anker, Ellen Watkins, and Amy Cuddy videos on your own. I've watched them, all of them, so many different times, but I keep on learning stuff, and I'm very excited about the knowledge that you're getting through that information. In fact, I wish I had that information when I was going through school as an undergrad. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's look at Sean's video. So these are the questions that I think are really important, some of the meat that we're getting out of this video. How much more efficient does being happy make you? So this is called the happiness advantage, right? Being happy does make you more efficient in almost everything you do, as Sean pointed out. What percentage of our happiness is predicted by our external world? Is being happy an accident? What's the greatest influence on our happiness? And what can you do about it? So these are the meat of his video. So let's get to it. How much more efficient does being happy make you? I don't know if you remember, he says it specifically, and then he goes through a series of things where he's saying that, you know, we see doctors are this more efficient in diagnosing stuff, but on average, happiness makes you 31% more efficient in whatever you're doing. It's like raising your IQ 31%. In fact, we know that kids in the foster program, when they're removed from their parents, are going through something traumatic, and that will actually decrease their IQ by a huge sum. So an average kid going through this really traumatic experience might actually qualify as, you know, mentally handicapped. But in a normal state, he has a normal IQ or she has a normal IQ. Well, being happy versus neutral or depressed actually does the opposite for you. It increases your IQ, makes you more effective, makes you better at your job, a better friend, a better spouse. It's important. Okay, what percent of our happiness is predicted by our external world? 10%. Okay, why is that important? Well, we need to stop blaming our surroundings for our happiness. Okay, 10% of our external world can influence our happiness. Is that important? Yes. Can we actually change the external surroundings to increase our happiness? Yes. Should we? For sure. But even if we can't, it's not a reason to blame or not take responsibility for our own happiness. Okay, is being happy an accident? Nope, it's something we can influence. What's the greatest influence on our happiness? It's the way our brain neurons interpret the world. So these are physical connections in our brains. Right? It's just neurons interact with other neurons in a physical way. We make these synapses that connect neurons to each other, and the way it interprets the world influences a level of happiness. Right, so it's a physical thing going on in our brain. Okay, what can we do about it? Well, we know there's 5 exercises, and hopefully you'll know the 5 exercises because that's part of your happiness project assignment. So know the 5 exercises. If we do these consistently for 21 days, that physically changes the way our neurons interact with the world. So we become happier. Now, your happiness project is doing it for 30 days. I find it more effective for 30 days. That's why I've gone down from 3 of the exercises to 2 and just do it for 30 days. And I'm looking forward to seeing those reports. Okay, let's move on. Amy Cuddy. What is Amy Cuddy's main question? Okay, I think I'll just go through these. What's her main question? What's she looking at? Well, she's looking at what does the body tell the mind. We know that the mind can influence the way our body acts. So if we're not, when we're happy, we smile. Well, does smiling actually make you happy? If you're not happy? Actually, it does, and that's the answer to the next question. Holding a pencil in your mouth forces you to smile. Do it for 2 minutes. You're going to be happier. I actually, like when I'm running on a treadmill or doing something that, you know, just doing it, I have time, I'll try to smile for that 2 minutes just to get that happiness boost. Right. So she's looking at what we can do physically to change what's going on internally. And that's kind of funny because Alan Watkins looks at that too. What does power posing do for us? It increases our testosterone. Now, you might be thinking, oh, I'm a woman, I don't want more testosterone. Well, in proportion to what you normally have, right? So guys normally have more testosterone than women. We both have like this average humidifier type of, we set a set of testosterone. So power posing increases that proportion, right? Also decreases our cortisol. What's our cortisol? It's our stress hormone. How do we react to stress in our lives? And in doing that makes us more confident. Okay, this I thought was amazing. She did this test result where we have all these students going in and being interviewed, and they're MBA students at Harvard, so highly qualified people going in to be interviewed. Really hard interview, 5 minutes. What were the results? They wanted to hire all the confident people who had done the power poses, people who had done the low power, the scrunching up the body poses. They didn't want those people. They wanted the people who displayed confidence. They didn't care about the qualifications, the IQ, the clothes, or the haircut. I'm not saying those aren't important. I mean, if getting a good haircut and wearing good attire, you need to do that. And the better you do that, that might increase your confidence, right? So there might be some influence there, but it's not as important as what was going on internally, what their hormones were doing. All right. Now let's go on to Alan Watkins. What is HRV? HRV is heart rate variability. Remember, he says that when we take your pulse and say, oh, your pulse is 70 per minute, that's like saying the average note of Mozart was ba, and saying, oh, we can now tell whether that piece was good or not. No, it's the variability that goes on through that minute, or for the minutes, that he's really looking at. Okay, what can it determine? Well, it can determine when you will die, what your energy levels are, and how well your brain's functioning, which is kind of interesting, right? I don't know if I want to know when I'm going to die, but my heart rate variability will influence that, and now I'm learning that I can control that. So, through my breathing, right? So that's an interesting thing. Okay, what depends on what, resulting in your performance? So performance depends on what, depends on what, depends on what, right? How do we get to where we're performing? Because that's what he's interested in. That's what people pay him a lot. They say, I want to perform well every day. I'm an executive or I'm a CEO of an important company. We make a lot of money. It's important that I'm at my best every day. How do I get there? So we need to know what influences that. So performance is influenced by so how do we do it? What we do, performance depends on what we do. What we do depends on how we think. What we think depends on how we feel. How we feel depends on our emotions. And our emotions depends on our physiology. What are our emotions? Our emotions are the energy in motion. So the basic is our physiology. So that's where he's like, well, how do we get to our physiology? How do we hack that? And that's the breathing exercises. So through breathing exercises, we know we can hack into our physiology, take our heart rate variability and study it out, which will influence our emotions, which will influence how we feel, how we think, what we do, and how we perform. Right? So we can really tweak the energy and motion through the physiology. Okay, then what does breathe stand for? Breathe rhythmically, evenly, and through the heart every day. So he says focus on the heart. But I use an app called, let me see, look at it. Breathe Right? Oh, Pace Breathing. So I have an Android app called Pace Breathing, free. Works great for this. I think Android has, or Apple has a Breathe Right app. So you can practice it at home. Okay, that's it, right? Alan Watkins, Amy Cuddy, John Anker. Okay, again, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this helps.